Hey everyone, Mike Moo here. There is a new version of the Tresanti adjustable height desk. It is called the Tresanti Gellar 47-inch adjustable height desk. As you can see, if you purchase it online at Costco, it is $329.99 without any discount. However, recently I saw it for sale at my local Costco for $249.99. So I had a chance to see this in person. And what I really like about this is you get a lot for your money. Very similar to what they had in the previous versions of this adjustable height desk that's sold in Costco. I'm just going to call it the Costco Tresanti adjustable height desk. This one, unlike the previous one, is not curved. As you can see, there's no curve in front here, which some people find to be a little bit more ergonomic. Personally, I like having a little bit more desk space and being able to adjust that around a traditional desk like I'm used to. I think it's just perfect for me personally, just a little bit more desk space. Now, what's different about this is that they got rid of the Qi charger, which honestly wasn't great to begin with. It was a nice idea. It feels like it checked off the features list, but in the end, the Qi charger just always seemed to fail. The alignment was always difficult to get right, and they just replaced it with two USB-C ports here and one USB-A port instead, and then just remove the Qi charger area here altogether. Now, if you still want a good Qi charger, you can get one separately, and that's something that you're going to have to do to add on yourself. Personally, again, how I feel about it is forget the Qi charger. It didn't work well. It was constant pain in the butt for them probably to deal with, and people just were not happy with the performance of it because you need to get perfect alignment. Now, dimensional wise, as you can see, there are very slight changes here. And it's 47.3 inches wide, 23.7 inches deep. All right, that's how much space you got. And it can go from 29.3 inches high to 47 inches height in terms of the adjustability. And now it's all motorized, of course. This is a single motor system, which is sufficient for most people, especially for something this small and compact. It's not a giant desk. Now, even though it is small and compact, they claim in the specifications that I saw in the shop that you're going to be able to put on a significant amount of poundage. And let's see if we can see if they tell you exactly here. I remember it was significant enough that for people who had questions about whether or not they can do multiple monitor setup, if that's okay, or if they can put on something a little bit heavier, I think you're going to be okay. In fact, the one that I have, I've actually stood on top of it, and it seemed to be okay. And I weigh 170 pounds. Here's the thing, though. Remember, this is tempered glass, okay? So you don't want to put anything sharp on there or anything that's going to cause it to crack because it's just glass. It might be tempered glass, but it is still glass. Now, the USB-C port, unfortunately, only puts out 1.5 amps. All right. So that is not going to fast charge anything. That's actually a slow charge. So keep that in mind. So that's not something that I'm super excited about it, but at least they kept the 2.4 amp USB port. So if you're going to charge your tablet, you're going to want to use the USB-A port instead. It's going to put out over 10 watts to your iPad. Whereas if you're using a USB-C, you're going to charge even slower. And that is typically flipped around the other way, right? Usually when you get a power adapter with USB-C, you're going to be able to put out more amps. Not the case here. So that is a little bit disappointing to me. But the fact that you still have that option and you can slowly charge, I think that's great. They kept the 3 programmable height settings available on the table. Now, I haven't had many issues with this at all. And it's pretty easy to set up. You just basically set up to the height that you want, hold down one of these presets, and it just remembers the preset. And it gives you a visual LED rating, adjustment rating to let you know just how far high up you are or have it set at. So that's just a little bit helpful. Now, I don't know how accurate this is precisely, but at least it gives you an idea of you adjust it to the height that you like, and then you just need to get back to that number for any case or scenario. Now, I think this is really great, not just because standing and working is better. It's the fact that you have the adjustability so that you can use the same desk for different people, and you can sit down most of the time, just stand up periodically just by pressing the button, move it up or down. Now, I don't advise exceeding the weight rating on this. And if I can find that out, I'll put it there on the screen. Exceeding the weight rating on here when you're moving things up and down. Basically, you're going to be able to put a lot more weight on this if it's not moving. All right, this is the rating for the weight. Just try to keep it as minimal as possible. So you're not going to have any problems doing a multiple monitor setup like what I do. Now, as far as setting up one of those monitor stands that clamps onto the edge of here, it's going to be a little bit easier because this is not as deep as my version. And I have one of the very first versions of the Tresanti when it was on sale. There was only one version. And in fact, it didn't really even have a name back then. But something slimmer like this is going to be easier to put the clamp down underneath. And you can use any variety of ones that are available. My suggestion is just to bolster it a little bit with some wood or something hard to keep the pressure spread out across the board. And you don't have to buy anything specific or special for that. Just keep in mind that what you're clamping on is actually tempered glass. Okay, so just be careful with that. Now, what's different also is that this is made in Vietnam. Now, just for full disclosure, I'm not paid to do this video. This is not sponsored at all. So I really don't know whether or not the quality has changed at all by it being made in Vietnam versus being made in China. But when I did see it in person, it seemed to be right up to spec as well with what I've been used to, which is perfectly acceptable for this price range. I do believe the rest of everything else is the same. I believe they use the same motors. So if you had a problem with the motor before, you're still going to have a problem now. The electronics is probably the same as well. So if you have the same issues that you had before, it's going to be the same issues as now. And also the cabling and everything looks fairly similar, but that's without doing a really close inspection. One other thing I do like is that it looks a little bit sleeker than the one that I have. I think that's just simply because they made some changes in the way this whole thing is structured a bit. Anyways, it felt to be a little bit more solid, but it could be because they strapped down the legs down on top of the pallet that this was in the warehouse. Now, again, this is available in the warehouse for a cheaper price than the $329.99 price point that you see here. And when it was most recently on sale earlier in July, it was $249.99 in the warehouse. I advise you to try to do that, but if you can't, then it's really nice to have the option to have it delivered to you. Now I get some questions on whether or not this will fit easily in a car. I can tell you that this fit in my Subaru, and I have a small SUV. So it fit in there just fine as long as you have a sedan, a reasonable size sedan that you can put down the seats. I know a lot of cars won't be able to do that. So in a case like that, you should probably just make a friend or just order it online and have it delivered right to you. All right, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below and I'll see what I can do to answer some of those for you. Again, please give us a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.